We will start my top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings with, at number 10, the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are back in the power rankings for the first time in a long time. Nobody is playing better baseball than the Mariners right now. Entering Sunday, the Mariners had a 7-game winning streak, tied for the 5th longest win streak of the season. They have been fantastic. They've won 12 of their last 15 games. They've gotten themselves just a game and a half out of a wild card spot. They have crawled from deep in the depths of the division to right on the cusp of a wild card spot. They're not going to win the division because the Astros are very good, but they are right where they need to be. They are looking really, really good. Moving on to number 9, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are starting to get healthier. This is going to be big for them. Obviously, they're in a battle there with the Cardinals in the NL Central. They're leading right now. They have Corbin Burnes, who we all know is good. Brandon Woodruff is back, and Freddie Peralta is feeling good, coming back. Watch out for the Brew Crew. They're at number 9. Moving on to number 8 in my top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are tied for the second best road win percentage in baseball since June 1st. 750 after having a 417 win percentage prior to June 1st. Kyle Schwarber's just on another planet. The Phillies are here because of Kyle Schwarber. He's at 28 homers. Unbelievable. Kyle Schwarber, when the calendar turns to June, turns to Babe Ruth. I've said it a few times now, and it just continues to hold true. Moving on to number 7 in this week's power rankings, I have the Boston Red Sox. This is similar to the Mariners. They're not going to win the division because the Yankees are so good, but the Red Sox are now 46-39. Very under the radar getting to this point because the Yankees are doing so well in the AL East. But the Red Sox have been fantastic, tied for the most road wins in baseball since June 1st with the Braves. The Red Sox rake. We know that. The power surge hasn't really come along yet, but they rake. Their pitching has been serviceable of late. As long as they can pitch, they will be fine. Moving on to number 6, the San Diego Padres. The Padres have hit a little bit of a tough spell. They were up there in the top 5 for a while. They're still doing really well. Entering Sunday, per Fangraphs, the Padres have an 88.5% chance of making the playoffs, the highest amongst all non-division leaders in the National League. Their starting pitching is what has done this for them. Starting pitching, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, Mackenzie Gore has stepped in and been good. Blake Snell has flashes of being good, but Blake Snell hasn't figured it out yet as a Padre. When he does, because his stuff is just too good, they're going to be at another level. And then Tatis comes back, so watch out. Number 5, the New York Mets. We know how good the Mets are. Max Scherzer's back. Max Scherzer was really good in his one outing back. Jacob deGrom is on the comeback trail. They need him. The Mets need to get going. They are hanging on by a thread to a division lead at one point that was double digits. It is now down to a game and a half. The Mets are tied for the league lead in Major League Baseball, though, with 297 RBIs with runners in scoring position. They hit when it matters. The duo of Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor have combined for 130 RBIs, the most by 2 teammates in all of Major League Baseball. They're here at number 5. Moving on to number 4. This was controversial last week, but I even more so believe it this week. I have the Atlanta Braves at number 4, ahead of the New York Mets. They've made up ground from 10.5 now down to a game and a half behind the New York Mets. Since the start of June, they are playing better baseball than anybody. They are 29-8 since June 1st. They have narrowed that gap down almost 10 games. Nobody's playing better than the Braves since the beginning of June. That's why I have them here above the Mets. Are they ahead of the Mets in the division? No. Could they be in a week? Yes. Does it matter for these rankings? No. I would much rather, if I'm a team outside of the National League East or anybody else besides the Braves and the Mets, I would rather play the Mets right now than I would rather play the Braves. And that's not a knock on saying the Mets are just a bad team now. No, they're really good. The Braves have just been the best team in baseball since June 1st, and I now have them ahead of the Mets in my power rankings here at number 4. Moving on to number 3, out in the NL West, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers entering Sunday 55-29. They entered Sunday on a 6-game winning streak, their 4th win streak of 6 games or more this season. They are the only team to have 4 such streaks this season. They're also the only team in baseball with 3 starters inside of the top 25 in ERA. Tony Gonsolin, Julio Urias, and Tyler Anderson. The Dodgers have been good, and they're just doing it on all sides of the ball. So they're here at number 3. At number 2, I have the Houston Astros. The Astros are just so good. Yordan Alvarez is the best hitter in baseball. He just is. The Astros have been great. The rotation has been fantastic. They lead MLB in reliever ERA, which is a big upgrade from last year. Last year, they were middle of the pack in reliever ERA. This year, they're leading all of baseball, and it's really paid dividends for them in terms of one-run ball games. They're winning a lot more one-run ball games this year. They're one of the 2 best teams in the American League. That's not a shock. We know this. We know that they are one of the 2 best teams. We know who number 1 in my power rankings is going to be again. And at number 1, I have the New York Yankees, who are on pace to break the all-time record for wins in a season. So, of course, they're here at number 1. Their run differential is plus 182. Which is the highest in baseball, and one of just 2 teams that has a differential over 100. So they're at 182. They're one of only 2 teams that's even over 100. The other being the Dodgers at plus 149. Unbelievable. It is remarkable how good the New York Yankees have been this year. And they are, of course, again at the top of my top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings for this week.